And this last stretch of 10 games is going to be so fascinating from a tactical standpoint because it is some players like Joaquin Fernandez, maybe even Robert Volader, Kyrie Shelton, Nemanja Radia, playing for their Sporting KC futures. If they want to try to re-sign with this team and they're out of contract after this year, some of it may already be done, but they're going to be playing for their futures. It's Carey coaching for his future as a potential Sporting KC full-time coach. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of No Other Pod. Did you just say yeet?
I said 4 words.
4 letters. One more.
4 letters.
Yeet.
Yeah, I did. Sorry. Threw you off.
I'm Jimmy, along with my good buddy, Mr. Yeet, Daniel Kooser. What's going on, my friend?
Well, it's SummerSlam week, dude. I'm just trying to get into the mood. You know what I mean? The matches are taking place. It's the first ever 2-day SummerSlam. I'm very excited about it.
New Jersey and at MetLife Stadium.
Isn't that the biggest football stadium in the league?
That's a great question.
I'm pretty sure it is. Isn't it up there with like Lambeau? And you would think Soldier Field's big, and it's not. Soldier Field's
AT&T Stadium, I thought, is let's see. Well, MetLife has the highest. Okay, MetLife. It says it's either MetLife or AT&T.
Really?
AT&T can host over 100,000 spectators, but it's got 80,000 listed as seating capacity. MetLife seating capacity is 82,500.
Okay, so seating capacity,
yeah,
MetLife wins.
Yeah,
as far as like football goes and overall sports, but wrestling might be a different story with all the floor seating and all that.
Oh, it's going to be stupidly insane.
But very excited. Having a little makeshift party Sunday after my show. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to watch it live on Saturday, right? Saturday night?
Nope. I'll have to watch that Sunday morning. I plan to get up and get that going. There's no Formula One race, is there? Is that going to be messing with me?
This is the thing. Y'all keep being like,
there is
Formula One. And I'm like, too much. There's too much.
Not too much. Dude, I had a blast this past Sunday when my guy, Lewis Hamilton, got cut from qualifying, who never gets cut, because he had some kind of track infraction. So he was in like the top 5. Nope, he got cut and started the race at number 18 on Sunday. Ended up climbing to like 7th. Like it was like 11 places. Pretty crazy.
I am not a racing fan of any kind, really, although I did see a TikTok video. I don't know. This could have been years old, but it looked like, I want to say it was Kyle Busch in a truck race of some sort and just intentionally caused the dude to crash into the wall because he was pissed off.
Yeah, people are neat.
Just drove off, and I was like, "This is insane. This feels deadly."
Road rage, dude. It's crazy.
Like if you were just driving on the highway, got pissed off, and did that to somebody, you'd be charged with attempted murder.
100%.
And this dude just does it on a racetrack, and then nothing happens.
Listen, I'm such a little bitch at people like that. I'll blare my horn and stuff. They don't care about your horn. They're probably blasting their music, and they've left you in the dust. Your little bitch ass horn means nothing. But I'm like, oh, I gave them the horn. I gave them the what for.
But is there any better feeling than someone's being an asshole on the road and they like are driving dangerously and they go around you and then you go like a couple miles down the road and you see they're pulled over?
That happens, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Worse. No, did I tell you about this when I was on the way to a sporting game and it was raining and a guy speeds around me and I watched him lose control and did flips into the freaking median area, like a grassy area on I-435, just boom, 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 boom. Like it rolled 2 or 3 times. And it was like slow motion out of a movie. I was on the phone with my father because I get pretty anxious during the rain. I'm like, someone talk to me, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, Dad, something crazy happened. And Dad goes, well, are you going to stop? And I was like, I guess maybe I should have, but I didn't.
I guess I should maybe call 911.
I mean, I assume someone else did. I hope, but I was so in shock, like to witness that.
I will say, I forget what that's called. It's a specific like psychological effect where that's a thing that happens. Is there are some like bad emergencies where people don't call 911 right away because everybody assumes that somebody else is calling 911. So they do always say, PSA, if you see something happen, they'd rather have too many people call in than nobody call in. But yeah, there is a thing where like it's got like it, and sometimes they're like crazy emergencies where you're like, surely somebody has called, but everybody thinks that, so nobody calls.
I've never seen anything like that. I do feel justified when I see them pulled over, but I did not feel justified when I was like, oh my God, I hope no one died.
You don't want them to die.
No.
You just want them to get a ticket. Maybe
Yeah,
a couple
a
points
ticket
on
would
their
have been
license.
great.
Have to sit
But that's just a reminder. You can't be driving like that, especially when the elements are all fucked up. You know, it's crazy.
Right. People don't understand how dangerous sometimes driving in the rain can be, like with hydroplaning and fishtailing and such. It's scary.
Talking to myself, I'm like, oh boy, that was a hydroplane.
The closest I ever got to getting in a really bad accident on a freeway, I had just started driving. I was like 16 and a half, maybe. Like I had legitimately just got my license. And
you got in an accident?
I didn't get in an accident. I somehow saved this. We were driving on the freeway in LA. We were going to the beach, and I'm leading. My mom's behind me in the minivan. I'm in my car, and there's a pickup in front of me, probably about like, I don't know, 50, 60 feet in front of me, maybe more. I don't know. All of a sudden I see the pickup swerve like out of the lane, and I don't really have time to see what happens. But what I see in the lane diagonal that he avoids is a big ass like metal ladder, just like in the freeway. And I'm going like 70 miles an hour. So in my mind, I'm in this like, I'm driving a Toyota RAV4. It's a SUV, but it's not something I should drive over a metal ladder at 70 miles.
Mid-size SUV.
Right. Yeah. Like barely a crossover. So I don't even remember looking. It's a miracle I didn't hit anybody because I don't know that I did look. But I swerved to the right, pull back to the left, feel my car drift, like Tokyo Drift style. Somehow get it straightened out and don't roll this thing. And I immediately get off the freeway and I just like park in a parking lot at like a grocery store. And I just sat there for like 15 minutes. Because I was like, I don't, one, know how I avoided that ladder. Two, I don't know how I didn't crash into somebody else. And three, I don't know how I didn't roll this thing. I couldn't do that again if I tried. But somehow I avoided it. And I don't know, like, I've thought about this looking back multiple times. Like, would it have been better to drive over the ladder than to try to like avoid it like I did? But I feel like that thing would have fucked up my car, could have caused me to roll or do something. So like,
oh yeah. Yeah. Speaking of driving, did you enjoy my driving on stage yesterday?
That was so funny. I did go. I went to go see Groundhog Day, and there is a hilarious scene where Dan's driving a car, quote unquote, and they got police cars chasing them, and the way they did it in the production is very funny. Bro,
the truck comes together like doggone Optimus Prime. Like it was just crazy.
It is. Very
you don't
funny.
Think about it. You're like, it goes from bar top counter, and it's like it's a
car, and there's even headlights and everything.
Headlights that turn on, and it's such a long scene, man. We just improv. The shit we're saying to each other means absolutely nothing. I remember one night they had to go into they like pulled us back, and it kind of crab walked to the side as they were trying to like straighten us back out. And I was like, I'm going in reverse. And the guy next to me goes, I didn't know my truck could do that.
The guy next to you, I think this doesn't mean anything to anybody that hasn't seen the show, but he looked like Dirty Dom Mysterio.
Yes, dude. He's a good guy too. A very young guy, has a degree in theater. His dad runs the Topeka Performing Arts Center.
That's awesome.
Theater's just like in their household, man. He's good person. He's from California, actually. So
nice.
They moved here when his dad took over at TPAC.
Awesome. Well, there's still another weekend of shows, I think, right? One more weekend.
Two more. I'm in it for 2 more weekends. We got like 7 shows left. It's crazy. Okay.
I thought this next weekend was the last one. So,
man.
Well, people, go see it.
People are loving it.
See Groundhog Day. It's a good time.
I wish I had free tickets just to like give away on here or something, but they're all gone.
I will say, I had a little cheesecake at intermission that I ordered. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Nice. Do you have any popcorn?
I didn't order any popcorn. Marissa came out after the show in the lobby, and I tried some of her popcorn. It was good.
It's good popcorn.
So I had a little Maker's Mark and some cheesecake. It was a good time.
Yeah, had a little drink. Wow,
a little drinky drink.
A little self date. You took yourself out on a date.
Solo date. Yep.
There's nothing wrong with that. I think people should do that more, man. I'll go to the movies alone sometimes, and I'm like, I just had the best time.
I love it. I saw Fantastic Four by myself, which, speaking of, before we take our
saw a friend there, or the friend saw you.
The friend saw me. Someone saw me. I did not.
You got a stalker, bro.
No, we got an email from Mariah, one of our listeners, and said, "Hi, I just want to say I love the pod. It's the only podcast where I listen to every episode." That's very nice. Thank you, Mariah. I saw Jimmy at the movies while watching Fantastic Four, but I thought it would be weird to go up and say hi, so I thought I'd send an email. Well, first off,
would it have been weird?
Right? No, not at all. Thank you.
Look at
I appreciate it. I've had people come up and say hi to me. I'm not going to pretend like it happens all the time. It's happened like I can count it on one hand the amount of times it's happened.
I've taken a few selfies in my day,
but no, very rarely has it happened where we've been out and about and someone's like, "Hey, you're the guy from the podcast." So by all means, as long as I'm not like actively in the middle of a conversation with somebody else, like come up and say hi. I'd be happy to I always like putting faces to names. So
I'm glad she sent an email. I thought that was hilarious. I think I got it before you did. And I messaged you and was like, this email is hilarious.
Yep.
Usually it's amazing. I think that's really cool. So
it was a good time. I enjoyed the movie. I won't say anything because I know you have not yet seen it, Dan, and I don't want to spoil it for any of our listeners since it just came out.
I'll be there. I'll be there tonight. It's going to be good.
Go see it. Let me know what you think. And looking forward to the future. I feel like they're finally like sort of figuring out what the post Endgame MCU.
You said you weren't going to say anything. Let's relax.
I'm not giving anything away.
Dude, you would hate that. You would hate if I was just like, you would hate if I said, I enjoyed it. And you'd be like, oh, can't believe you told me that.
You're right. That's my fault.
When it comes to Star Wars shit, I'll be like, dude, Ahsoka's pretty good. You're like, oh, shut up. I haven't watched Ahsoka.
Throw my phone out the window. I am that way with that's why I literally saw it Thursday night. Like it didn't even come out technically until Friday, but like those early showings. And I was like, I'm going to do this before it gets spoiled for me because I don't want to see like Silver Surfer. Like I said, one of my favorite characters in the comics as a kid. And I was so mad at the way they did Silver Surfer and Galactus in the Rise of the Silver Surfer movie, 20 years ago.
Yes.
That I was like, I need to see this before it gets spoiled for me. So
good point. I stay on socials and I'll see like a little thing or like a picture and I'm like, zoop, 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 just scrolling away.
Can't do it. It also like the worst is it actually, and we will take our break here in a second, but Roman's return got spoiled for me. Was it last week? Roman Reigns.
Talking about Raw? You didn't watch?
I was watching, but I was like an hour delayed, and I forgot I was an hour delayed. And so I opened up my phone to check. I think I went to check weather or something on Twitter, and first thing I saw like WWE, and it's like OTC1 is back or whatnot, and I was like, God damn it!
And that upset you? Like
it's just there's something about a wrestling return that hits different than.
But on TV, like I get it with like the pay-per-views and stuff, but like TV, I'm like, let it spoil it for me.
But there are certain people like when those drums hit, like it's cool. Or like when the Rock's music hits randomly, it still gets you. Or even wrestling
you're there.
When all of a sudden Joe Hendry hit, you're like, okay, that was a moment.
Should we start just putting some money aside and go to a WrestleMania some year?
It would be fun.
That would be a lot of fun. That's like a trip you plan far out, right? I mean,
that might take like 2 years of planning and saving.
Maybe. And not like, I'm not talking nosebleed seats. I'm not talking like down front
not
either.
Front row, but you want like 100 level.
Decent, dude. Like where I was for Royal Rumble, it was brilliant.
You want to be able to see and not be watching the monitor more than you're watching the ring.
We'll think about this because that could be fun. Chris would be down too. Chris has said, hey, New Orleans next year. And I was like, no, Chris. That's too soon.
It's too soon. But let's take our break real quick and we'll come back and talk about this stupid Vancouver game.
Stupid.
We'll be right back.
Looking for tickets for your next event? Tickets for Less is your #1 source. Save big on every purchase when you use promo code KCSN at ticketsforless.com.
I'm BJ Kissel, founder and CEO of KC Sports Network. Emprise Bank has been with us from the beginning. They were our first network partner, and they believed in the vision of what we were building from the start. I can't speak to any other banks or companies and how they operate, but I can tell you from personal experience and based on the growth of the network you're listening to right now, that if you have banking needs, call our friends at Emprise Bank. We've worked with so many great people there over the years, from Vicky and Aggie to Andrea, Lori, Jackie, Deb, and Aaron, and not to mention so many others that not just supported KC Sports Network, but supported our KCSN Foundation as well. But the best thing that I know is that if I have a question or a problem, no matter how dumb the question is, I know who I'm going to call and who I'm going to talk to, and I know that I'm getting an answer from someone that I can trust, and I know that person is there to help us. That's why Emprise Bank has always been and continues to be our partner in Possible, and they can be yours too. You just have to reach out. If you have a banking need, whether it's business or personal, hit me up. I will connect you directly with the same people that have helped us build KCSN. And that's our friends at Emprise Bank.
Folks, there's nothing that beats relaxing on a hot summer day and watching some baseball. And there's no simpler way to get in on the action than by downloading the Pick 6 app from DraftKings. It's crazy simple. Just pick more or less on the stats for 2 or more of your favorite players, and boom, you're in the mix for big cash prizes. And the best part, Pick 6 is available right here in Missouri. Don't miss out on the fun. Don't settle for a smaller payout. Switch to Pick 6, and right now, new customers can get $25 in bonus picks with their first deposit of $5. Here's what you got to do. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code KCSN. That's code KCSN for new customers to get $25 in bonus picks with their first deposit of $5. Better payouts, bigger wins, only with Pick 6 from DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Void where prohibited. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit. Bonus picks expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
Bro, you see me save that girl's cat yesterday from the tree
In the show?
Bro, the other night, the guy throws the cat and has to clear this like wooden tree prop thing, and it clips the tree, so it changes its like force
Trajectory.
It now holds up, and I'm like waiting for it to come back here, and I have to go forward, and I like got underneath it and fell to the ground. Second time I've done this, and I'm like, we can't keep doing this. It wasn't a huge fall. It was more kind of like a gentle lay down, but I just had to get under it like an outfielder or something.
Yeah.
And I held it up like Simba. It was funny. It got laughs.
Have you dropped the cat yet?
No, that happened in rehearsals because it went too far and I couldn't get to it. And I sat there and cried. And then I was like, never mind, it's okay. But no, for an audience, we have not dropped it. Knock on wood. So.
And your ankle doesn't hurt anymore? I'm getting
my foot's in that ugly stage of bruising where it's like a week later and it's starting to fade away, you know?
Yeah. But no pain?
It never was really pain unless you touched it. But like walking, everything was fine. So
Marissa told me as we were waiting for you to come out from backstage, I was like, how's his ankle doing? She goes, this guy comes up to me in the middle of the first act last week. And he says one thing to me and he goes, my shoe's full of blood. And she was like, I go, what? And then he walks away and goes back on stage. And she had no idea what was happening.
Shouldn't have done. Dude, that's something like you go up to someone and be like, your grandmother's dead. And you just walk away. Like, what?
Yeah.
I need more information. Yeah, I shouldn't have done that in hindsight, but it was hurting. It was stinging at that moment. So
it's like when I cut part of my finger making an old fashioned a couple years ago with the garnish. I walked into Brittany's office. She's on a Zoom call, and I just go, I cut my finger off. I'm going to the hospital, and I close the door. And she's like, "No, what? Hold on. I need more information."
You ever eat beets? Because I'll be cutting up beets,
and you look
like blood everywhere. It's red, you know.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, Marissa, I gotta go to the hospital.
Speaking of a murder,
oh my god, dude.
3-0.
Vancouver's kind of good.
Vancouver. Yeah, it turns out
Decent team.
you know, if a team is, you know, second place in the Western Conference and, you know, within a point of first place and actually leading in terms of points per game, maybe you should believe that they're a good team. And
you got our lineup was weird. You know, you got the song back in there, of course. Eric Tommy's not there. Kyrie Shelton's not there. So you got Brody back there. I don't know.
Manu Garcia.
No Manu Garcia. He didn't even make the trip.
Didn't make the trip, yeah.
And instead of Ndembe on the left, you got Tim Leibold in there. So that was interesting. Fernandez back in the center back area, and our boy Jansen Miller just getting those number 1 minutes, man. Gotta love it.
He's the most consistent player at this point. He and Jovic and Pulskamp are the three I feel like that have got the most time out of all players this year. And this one, as soon as I saw
Volder was back.
Volder was available. Yep.
Yeah.
He was back. So that was good to see, especially after a broken clavicle, because that's not a fun injury. But this, man, this sucks because this was the same issue that we had last year, quite honestly, with the midfield. Was didn't feel like we had enough midfield depth. And again, we see essentially the two players on our roster that are really capable of playing an attacking midfield role in Eric Tommy and Manu Garcia. They're both out. So that put Zoran Basong in this sort of like pseudo attacking role. Nemanja Radia sometimes was trying to go up into an attacking role. That is not Jacob Bartlett's game. Jake Davis was available, but he's not 90 minutes fit yet. And since Kyrie Shelton was not available, Kerry had to keep Jake available to check in for Andrew Brody at right back if needed. So this whole game just felt like this was sort of off to a janky start from the get-go. And it just, I don't know. It never really, the first half especially, Sporting just never really got into the game. They weren't able to really find many quality chances. The outside backs for Vancouver were sort of taking over the game, and the wings for Sporting KC couldn't really get back. It was clear from the get-go which team was the number 2 team in the West, and it wasn't Sporting Kansas City.
But hey, man, it took them 35 minutes to get one on us. I mean, we were stemming the pressure a little bit, but they did have a couple early opportunities. It's just, God, they just picked us apart right here, man. Just Brody trying to put his hand up for offsides when it's like, that's what everyone does when they get beat. You know what I mean?
I mean, they had a couple of chances, they realistically could have scored in the 15th minute off of a long switch that got headed back into the middle of the field. Ultimately it was at the 35th minute when they finally score. And again, it was just defense can't clear the ball. They get the ball outside, it's sent across the face of goal. And then, Sabi is able to just tap it in, and there's nothing Pulskamp can do there. But, I don't want to say this wasn't like really a set piece goal, but it almost was a pseudo set piece because there was no movement. So it was almost like a free kick. The ball's deflected, and just not a whole lot of urgency from Sporting Kansas City. And they go
not much, dude. And when you're watching the highlights and everything, it's really just the first half is kind of a defensive highlight package for us, trying to keep them from coming because they were coming.
Yep. Yeah, it was. If you look at the stats of this game, it kind of tells the story because, and stats don't always tell a complete story, but Sporting Kansas City was outshot 21-11, 5-3 on goal. They were outpossessed by nearly 10%. Vancouver had about 7% greater passing accuracy, almost 100 more passes, 16 crosses for Vancouver to 7 for Sporting Kansas City, 9 corners to 4. It's just, again, as Kerry Zavagnin mentioned this himself, really, this was a game that was lost in the first half because, you go down 1-0 and you think, okay, that's not ideal, especially on the road, but just don't let it get worse. It almost got worse. Like 2 minutes later, Vancouver had another chance to put something away. They couldn't quite do it. It just for the rest of the half, it kept coming and coming and coming until they eventually scored in the 43rd minute. Ngondo eventually, again, ball comes down the left side. Same thing that had been happening the entire first half. Sent across the face of goal, and then Sporting can't clear the ball once again. 2-0 Vancouver. And it really, I don't know. At least for me, I don't know about for you, but it felt like when it was 2-0 at the half, like that felt like it was all she wrote.
I mean, yeah, I hate to say we keep doing this to ourselves and digging a hole in the first half, and it's hard to get out of. And, you can tell a lot from a game, man, by watching like the 7 or 8 minute highlight package, and like count the amount of times Sporting's featured. And it's like, we're not featured as much as the other team is most times. You know what I mean?
No, and this was just, especially since it was a 9:30 p.m. kickoff Central Time, it was that much more frustrating to have to watch.
Oh, for sure. Here's the deal. I was excited for this game because I had a show and I was like, oh, 9:30? Okay. My show gets over about 10:15. I bet I can get home for the second half. I'm very excited about this. I'm going to go home, have myself a little Ollie Pop or something, and enjoy the rest of this game. Well, guess what? When the show got over and I saw that it was 2-0 halftime, I was like, I'm not going home. So no, I stayed after and mingled with people. I was like, I'm not rushing anywhere.
Yeah. It just, I mean, Brody couldn't deal with Nelson all game, and Sporting's defense couldn't clear the ball out of the box. You know, Joaquin tries to block this goal by Nagandi. And it just, it doesn't happen. And it was very frustrating to watch, Nagando, excuse me. I said Nagando. Very frustrating to watch. Second half, Sporting changed up the tactics a little bit, although again, Brody almost got taken 3 minutes into the second half. Nelson almost makes it 3-0 right there. But they kind of changed the way they defended in the second half. They switched to more of a man marking system. They dropped Jacob Bartlett back to sit between the two center backs to add another line of defense there. And Carey spoke on this after the game. He talked about how changing that strategy was really helpful, and it helped gain control of the game for the most part. And he said, quote, "It might be something that we have to think about in terms of how we start games, but it's a very high risk way to start games. At this point, it's something to think about moving forward." Which that last line is the one that's most interesting to me, because when he says at this point, it's something to think about moving forward, that's basically him going like, yeah, this is a higher risk strategy, but clearly what we're doing isn't working. So we got to try something. And ultimately, I think that's where this team is at.
That's where we're at, man. And there's not a whole lot of games left in this thing. You know what I mean?
No, not at all. I mean, Sporting Kansas City have played 24 of the 34 games. There are 10 games left. You know, Sporting had opportunities to try to get one back. There were set pieces and such. Santi came in and he tried to make some things happen. Carey once again says Santi is very close to cracking the starting lineup. He had an opportunity in the 70th minute where he nearly scored off of his left foot. Ultimately, Vancouver ended up making it 3-0 in the 87th minute off of a set piece.
I don't know what happened there, dude, but that guy got so high over our defense, like he was just alone in the air.
Well, and it's even weirder because the ball the cross is like the slowest floater that I've ever seen. Like, this was not like a fast whipped in cross that Sporting couldn't see coming. Everybody in the stadium saw this ball coming from a mile away, and Matthias Laborda, you're right, he just entirely outjumps all of Sporting Kansas City by like 2 full feet. Logan doesn't even jump hardly at all, and there's nothing Pulskamp can do at that point because it's basically point blank. So 3-0 Vancouver, and Sporting once again find themselves in a position where they are not making up any points that they need to make up to push for that playoff spot. They are still 6 points back of Colorado in that 9th spot. They do have
we were 5
in hand.
We were 5 back.
Mm-hmm. And now
to just be 6 after a loss is favorable, I guess. It could have been 8.
Sure. But that's the thing. Like, instead of it being like, we're at the point of the season now where instead of it being like, oh, it could be worse, it needs to be, oh, you're taking advantage of these opportunities, because this was an opportunity to either stay at 5 or move up. To
be 3 points out of a playoff spot. Wouldn't that be crazy?
3 points
out would be
with a game
having a different conversation and not frustrated every freaking week.
Yep. That's a totally different situation. So I'm not going to sit here and say with, 6 points down with 10 games left that it's impossible. It is certainly not impossible. This thing could turn around if the right streaks happen. This thing could turn around in 3 weeks. But unless Carey is willing to do something different, which it sounds like he's kind of getting to that point.
You mean like trading Gam?
Like
not trading, but they made a pretty good business deal. with Toronto.
Acquired an international roster spot, which with the transfer window opening seems to indicate that something's happening.
The same spot we sold them back in March, they paid like $200,000 for that spot, and we just paid $50,000 to get it back. Pretty good business deal, am I right?
I'll take it.
Absolutely. That's
$350,000.
That makes so much sense.
So yeah, for sure. Let's take our second break here real quick, and we'll come back. I want to talk about that a little bit more, and we'll talk about what's coming up over the course of the week. But we'll be right back.
Thanks for listening to KC Sports Network. Make sure you download our new app. Find it on the App Store or Google Play. Just search KC Sports Network.
Feels like a good time for the Chip shot. How do we feel about that?
Give it to me.
So Chip hits me up earlier today, right before we recorded, actually. He's like, dude, busy weekend. When do you guys record? And I was like, in 20 minutes. And so he's like, oh, I'm actually working on it right now. And I said, well, we might just get it from you real time on the air. So that's
live updates. This is just in from Chip right now. We have a live breaking news update.
100%. He said, well, it's a game I'll be quick to forget. Let's go. In a game that appeared rough from the onset, Vancouver not only gave us a 3-0 thumping, but also managed to outperform their XG, getting 3 goals on 2.5 XG. SKC, on the other hand, a lowly 0 goals off 1.6 XG. Sporting finished the game with only 11 shots, 3 of which were on target, but we see another performance where the offense didn't really click together. Heck, our highest contributor to our XG in that game was Logan Ndenbe, getting us 0.88 on 3 shots, 2 of which were on target. That's right, 2 of our 3 on-target shots came from defense, the other one coming from Shallowy. That's interesting. With the end of this game, SKC has officially hit 24 points on the season with 24 matches played. Do the math there, Jimmy. That's 1 point per game.
Not great.
It's not, the worst outcome, but it's definitely far from where we would hope things for our club. With only 10 matches left in the season, we're only 5 points away from 9th place. Are we 5?
I think we're
Did
6.
we say 5? We're 6. We're 6, Chip. Damn. Integrity. Journalist integrity. What is this?
We'll have to now issue an official retraction.
Sorry, guys. I apologize for Chip, everybody. This guy, he's just something else. Which would put us in the play-in game for the playoffs. It definitely puts us far behind some of the upper bracket teams like San Diego at 46 points and Vancouver at 45, but there is the chance for us to move forward and give us some postseason to look forward to, other than the KC Current. We've talked about it before last year, but the magic number to hit in order to be in line for playoff contention is 44 points. Historically, the bottom of the playoff bracket is somewhere around that place. SKC is currently at 24 points. So, 20 points in 10 games, 2 points per game for the next 10 matches. Even at SKC's peak performance on May 4th, 2025, when we beat the LA Galaxy, the highest point per game Sporting has achieved in the season has been 1.8. And especially with San Diego being our next game, we're rounding out the end of the season against some serious heavy hitters. Even with 10 games left, we are playing against the current 1st through 4th place teams in the West. The only 2 games we have against currently double-digit place teams are away at the Galaxy to end September, and then our final home match against Houston. As much as I'd love to see SKC turn a corner and lay down the smackdown, our offensive throughput doesn't feel like it's getting us across that finish line. For now, we have some time off before we host the current top-of-the-table San Diego team on August 9th. Hopefully the time can rest some injuries and get to form. We have a big uphill climb if we're wanting to stick around. Agreed, Chipper. Thanks, buddy.
He's right. This is going to be a difficult climb, and playing teams ranked 1 through 4 in the Western Conference basically basically leaves you no room for error in those other 6 games. You essentially are going to have to win all of them. So Daniel Shallowy even said last week, we got to win half of our games. Okay, well, then the immediate next game you've lost. Now you're basically needing to win 6 of 10 in order to give you a realistic shot. Because, even if you win 6 games, add 18 points, that just barely gets you to 42 points. And if you look,
a couple draws in there, maybe,
but if you look last year, the 9th place team in the West, 47 points.
Yeah.
So that's even if you win 6 games, you need some help from other people. Now the good news is winning 6 of those games means you're going to beat teams like Houston and Colorado. So that would help you out. But this is a very, very tall order. And Carrie's right. It's time to switch into high risk, high reward stuff. And this last stretch of 10 games is going to be so fascinating from a tactical standpoint, because it is some players like Joaquin Fernandez, maybe even Robert Volader, Kyrie Shelton, Nemanja Radia, playing for their Sporting KC futures. If they want to try to re-sign with this team and they're out of contract after this year, some of it may already be done, but they're going to be playing for their futures. It's Carey coaching for his future as a potential Sporting KC full-time coach. This is going to be very, very interesting to see how this plays out.
Well, and here's where I got to say, tune in on Wednesdays when me and Chris talk Kansas City Current being at the top of the table, because it's a lot of fun over there, folks. If you're not
more fun
soccer, I mean, it's a lot more fun to talk about. Sorry, Jimmy, I enjoy your company, but this gets rough, dude. And we've been a couple of years. I don't know what it feels like for us to get back to form,
It is very strange, because when we started this podcast in 2017, it was immediately after Sporting Kansas City won. Was that their last trophy?
U.S. Open Cup. Yeah.
U.S. Open Cup in 2017 against the New York Red Bulls. And literally the next week we started this podcast. So maybe we're the curse.
Did we not start it like days later?
It was literally, I think, like 2 days after the game we recorded the first episode.
How funny.
So it was,
and it can be found nowhere because it was so cringe. It's been deleted
from. I have it on my computer, and that's the only place where it exists.
Oh shit, dude! I sense an auction opportunity.
The lost piles of no other pod.
Oh my god,
that was back when we were recording then, and if I remember correctly, we were each recording our own audio in Audacity, and we would call each other on the phone. And we would talk on the phone, but record our audio individually. And then I would try to mesh it together. And sometimes our computers wouldn't exactly sync up. So I'd have to cut up the audio 74 times and move it just slightly so we're not talking over each other. Oh my God.
This is a good point. This is a good part to say, hey, we're happy to be here on KC Sports Network. It was nice saying thanks to our producer, Nick, for doing all the heavy lifting.
It's so good that we have Nick now, because that sucks.
Seriously. I mean, yeah, I did it a handful of times, maybe 8 or something, but I didn't have to do it as much as you do. You really took the reins on that thing. That was crazy.
It was a wild time, but podcasting's come a long way since then even. So it's been easy now.
I have a house now. I was in a studio apartment.
True. I was in an apartment too.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
I didn't have a dog. I didn't have a house. Look at us.
We weren't doing video. We didn't do video stuff, did we?
Yeah. You had both of your hips. I didn't have cancer.
Oh, my gosh. Cancer. Dude, don't be telling people you had cancer.
Well, I mean, technically, skin cancer, but
it wasn't, right? With no melanoma?
It's still technically a type of cancer. It was just non-melanoma cancer.
Oh, yeah. So I have cancer too then.
It's
cancer, bros.
They were it's the best kind of cancer you can get. And I was like,
oh,
thanks.
I only want the best. That's feels great.
Kind of bougie in that way. So
absolutely.
I do got this big old scar on my neck that people probably won't be able to see, but
Dude,
we'll be there for a little bit.
You need to tell people that's a prison thing. They missed your carotid or something, and
missed my jugular, and they just stabbed me in the neck, and I ripped it out.
Yep.
Got them back and walked myself to the hospital.
Mine's longer than you can show your neck. I'd have to get topless on here, and that's behind a paywall.
That's for the Patreon if we ever launch.
Charge for that Patreon shit.
That's for our new platform. We're proud to announce right now it's called OnlyDans. And
oh, absolutely.
You can subscribe for the low price of $19.99 a month.
Holy dance. It's just me providing oral hygiene tips. That's all it is.
Showing scars. This is what happens when Sporting loses 3-0.
This is what happens. What else you guys want to talk about? We can't talk about Fantastic Four. I banned him.
I know. I've seen it. I can't talk about it next week because we don't have a game. Maybe we'll try to get an interview next week. I know there's one that I've been working on that we'll see if we can pull that one out. That one's a little tough, but we'll try to get something for next week.
Do I know about this?
We've talked about it briefly.
Oh, we have?
So we'll see. But we'll try to get somebody next week because when there's no game, it's a good time to get an interview on. So.
Good point.
But yeah, I mean, Sporting, they do have this international roster spot that's coming in. So this is also interesting because not only is Kerry Zavagnin sort of coaching for his job, but Mike Burns, the sporting director, is also out of contract after this year. So Mike Burns is sort of, it's a weird situation where, when Kerry was asked, are they going to bring in players? And he's like, we're always looking to add players, but that's not my job. I'm worried about the players who are here. It is Mike Burns' job, but it may only be Mike Burns' job for the next 6 months because he's out of contract after this year. So, and there's not a lot of room in the roster right now in terms of budget to be able to bring in like a significant overhaul of talent. So can he get creative with the limited resources that Sporting Kansas City has and start turning the ship around in a way that gives ownership confidence that he's the right guy to take this into the future with the right coach? Will be interesting to see. I'm not sure.
Something's got to happen, dude, because I can't stand to be down here within sniffing distance of the two Texas teams and St. Louis and LA. Like, we're down there with them. You don't want to be in that conversation.
No,
like,
I mean,
let's get out of here, dude. Let's put something together.
Right. The good news is, like, I'm so glad, like, in this shouldn't be the bar. This should not at all be the bar, but I'm so glad that St. Louis is having a significantly worse year than even we're having because at least they can't talk their shit from across
Silver lining.
Yeah. So that's funny, but it does. This has been too long. Sporting Kansas City's been in this situation for too long. And I'm not willing to sit here and say, oh, this is just what Sporting Kansas City is now. I refuse to believe that Sporting Kansas City as a mid-market team can't compete, because if you look at the teams in the Eastern Conference who are competing, Cincinnati, Nashville, Columbus, Charlotte, those teams aren't meaningfully different in terms of markets than Kansas City. They all, maybe the Ohio cities aside, but Columbus is cool. I've never been to Cincinnati, but Nashville's a great city. Charlotte's a cool city. But I would say Kansas City is also a very cool city. It's that none of those cities, maybe Nashville is country music, but none of those cities are cities where you immediately think like, oh, that's a Miami or a New York or a Chicago. So if they can compete, and if you look in the Western Conference, and if Minnesota can compete, and if Vancouver can compete, there's no reason Sporting Kansas City should not be able to compete with the LAFCs, with the Miamis, with the New Yorks, with the Seattles. They just got to figure out the right combination, which we have not been able to do for like 5, 6, 7 years.
I agree, man. It's frustrating. I mean, speaking of frustrating, you see Miami fans kind of losing it over saying like we play for trophies, not exhibitions. And
get over it.
And
take your suspension and shut up.
Messi, it should have been more than one suspension, honestly. If anyone doesn't know, Alba and Messi both got 1 game suspensions for missing the All-Star game.
Yeah.
Gonna be honest with you, I wish we'd scrap the All-Star game, or no other league in soccer and in the world has an All-Star game, right?
Yeah.
And then if you want to look at All-Star games, why wouldn't you do an East versus West, an American League versus National League, like every other?
More interested.
I'd be more interested. I didn't watch this at all. Well, I take that back. I put it on as I was about to go to bed, and I was like, okay, I don't care at all.
It's pretty frustrating. So, I don't know. It's just, I'm almost surprised that they did actually suspend Messi and Jordi Alba, because I thought that maybe they wouldn't.
I'm not surprised at that. I'm more surprised that the coach came out and like ridiculed MLS, and I'm like, don't you know the rules? Like, your job as coach is to know everything, and you knew that would happen. Like, you knew that, and they are your boss. The league is your boss. So why are you ridiculing something that's been around forever? Who are you?
Yeah, that's a good question. And, reports are that, Messi is, quote, extremely upset over what they're calling a draconian ban, is what Jorge Mas, the owner, said.
Good grief.
Part of what the reason Don Garber suspended him, I mean, one, by the rules, if you're not injured and you voluntarily skipped the All-Star game and you were selected, then it's a 1-game suspension. But part of the thing that Don Garber said, which to Don's credit, although I have a lot of issues with what else Don has said about Lionel Messi, it's they didn't know before the morning of the game. And that was one of the biggest issues. It was like the night or the day before. It was like one day before the game where they finally were told that Messi and Alba weren't going to play. People suspected it, but Messi and Alba didn't tell them until I think it was the day before. And so that prevented another player who could have filled in and had an all-star spot and collected a check, because there is a monetary bonus for playing in the All-Star game, which, to Messi and Jordi Alba may not mean anything, but to another MLS player who hasn't made Barcelona generational wealth could mean something.
So don't ridicule the league, coach. How about you ridicule your players who didn't give any kind of notice at all? That's like saying, like, oh, I got a doctor's appointment today that I've known about for 2 months. Like, I can't come into work.
Sorry, I just didn't tell you.
What the hell?
Right.
So ridicule your own players who are a couple of dinguses and maybe communicate the rules going forward. Because and these Miami fans too, oh my God, they're villainizing themselves. Everyone thinks we're the villains and it's everyone against Miami. It's like, no, we don't really care about you. Like, you're really annoying, and you all decided to realize there's a soccer team there once you got Leo Messi,
Yep.
Insane.
And there's precedent for this, because Zlatan was suspended for doing the same thing in 2018.
And no one complained because they knew the rules.
I mean, Zlatan complained and said it was ridiculous. But
wow. So maybe no one knows the rules then.
This is the same thing. I mean,
are you just testing? Like, maybe they won't suspend me because I'm soccer Jesus. What?
Yeah. What's frustrating is you have the owner of Inter Miami, Jorge Mas, saying, Lionel Messi is Lionel Messi. He is different. He has completely changed the economics of this league for every single club, every sponsor, the league, media, etc. He's important. But at the end of the day, league corporate sponsors are already taking advantage of Lionel Messi's presence in the league. And this is the part where Don Garber said this that I take issue with, because I'm like, get a napkin and wipe your mouth off, Don, because this is a little disgusting. He goes, I know Leo Messi loves this league. I don't think there's been a player, or frankly, just about anyone, who has done more for MLS than Leo Messi has. Shut up, Don Garber. Like,
why is he saying that? Why is he even talking at all?
Because Messi's mad, and so he's trying to. But to sit here, like, to me as a fan of this league, and I know other MLS fans kind of think this the same way. Is it cool that a player like Lionel Messi is here playing in MLS? Yes. Has MLS taken advantage of it in the right way? No. But to sit here and say nobody has ever done more for the league in any capacity, player or otherwise, than Lionel Messi disregards nearly 30 years of history from people like Lamar Hunt, from people like Landon Donovan, from people like Peter Vermees, from people
owner David Beckham,
people who legitimately built and in some cases saved, in the case of Lamar Hunt, the league. So yes, is it cool that Messi's here? Yes. Do we have to pretend like he's this all-powerful deity that we all need to tiptoe around and apologize for enforcing the rules against? I don't think so. But
you know what?
That's
I wish that man had a bad game and we could just hate on him a little bit.
He's had some. I mean, look, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that he's not the greatest of all time. I think he is.
Yeah.
I think he is, and I'm not going to say that he's not. It's just the apologetics, and even Don Garber said they're going to, quote, take a hard look at the policy moving forward. If it was anybody else other than Lionel Messi, they wouldn't do it, because they didn't do it when Zlatan complained in 2018. They said, well, it's the policy, deal with it. So, and Messi's not even going to be here in 2 years. He might not even be here next year. You might sign on a short-term deal with another team, go play for Argentina in the World Cup, and then retire. And what has MLS really improved all that much because Lionel Messi's been in the league in the last 3 years? I would say no. But
something very exciting, shifting gears here. Something very exciting is going to happen this week. Leagues Cup starts. There's about to be a shit ton of soccer on the television, bro. Like, it is insane amounts. And also, I wish Sporting was doing what Nashville, DC, and Philadelphia are doing, and scheduling club-friendly matches. Why are we not doing any kind of friendlies, dude? Even KC Current had some Brazilian teams come in for a little makeshift tournament, and that was awesome. It gave you a chance to watch the team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The Current, I think, had to do that because I think according to NWSL rules, the collective bargaining agreement, there had to be at least 2 exhibition matches in this window to keep players fresh. So that's why. But they took advantage of it and they made this tournament, which is awesome.
Well, Nashville's bringing in Aston Villa. DC United's playing the Ethiopian national team, and then Eintracht Frankfurt is coming in to face Philadelphia. Dude, you can't tell me we couldn't secure some sort of Bundesliga team.
Everton is here right now. They just played in Chicago.
Did they?
They're on a U.S. tour.
And Man United's on a U.S. tour as well, aren't they?
They're on the same tour, yeah. But I mean, you can't tell me they couldn't have figured out a way to work something out here. Like, even if United doesn't want to come back because it was the anniversary of Sporting beating Man United the other day.
Sure.
Everton, that'd be cool.
Why not?
I'd be so happy.
I'd go. I don't give a shit about Everton, but I'd go because it'd be a chance to see a game.
Yeah, I wouldn't root for Everton. I would root for Sporting Kansas City over Everton, but I'd be happy.
Yeah.
I got my Everton scarf right there.
I'd say you could play your backups, or I could say you could call up your Sporting KC2 people, but like they're not doing any good because they just won their first match of the year.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that at all, and that's crazy.
Yeah, I don't even remember who their coach is right now because it's obviously not Benny anymore.
The hype isn't there, dude. When Swope Park Rangers happened, there's some pretty big hype around that. Like I had a jersey,
I got a
scarf
up there.
Hell yeah, dude. I was in on it. And then when they said, oh, nope, it's got to be Sporting KC2. The league demands it not be its own thing. And I was like, well, that kind of sucks, dude. It was really giving people an identity and people were going out there to watch, you know?
Yeah, it was fun.
Too bad.
Yeah, but I don't know. It'll, again, not to go back to the idea of who's going to be the coach, who's going to be the sporting director, who's going to be the chief soccer officer, if that's still a position. But all of this is going to impact not just the first team, but Sporting KC2 and the academy and the player pathway and the development. Sporting is in an unprecedented situation over the last 15 years, essentially, where they don't have a person making all of these decisions. And I don't think Mike Gillig or any of the owners are equipped with enough soccer knowledge to be able to make those decisions on their own. So there are a lot of huge decisions for Sporting Kansas City coming up that, yes, these last 10 games of the year are going to be very interesting to see what happens. Just, do they have any fight to show? Does Carey get the team in a position where he's still in the conversation for the coach? Does Mike Burns do enough in terms of recruitment or deals that are coming down the pipe to hold that job? But what else happens with the rest of this organization from a management standpoint? There's so much that's still yet to be answered. So
it's going to be interesting indeed, man. My optimism right now is a little rough. But when we made that trade for the GAM or for the international roster spot, that
something's
obviously tells you something's about to happen.
Yeah,
I thought it was going to happen pretty immediately, but I would think maybe this week something gets announced.
It hasn't been announced, at least at the time of recording, which means that I should probably check to make sure it hasn't been announced while we are recording.
Nothing yet.
I don't think it has, but it probably means this is going to drop in the morning, and then they will announce a new move, as is tradition for no other pod recording releases. So if that's the case, we'll talk about it next week. But you got anything else for our good listeners?
I don't think so. Guess what? We can't drop points this weekend. That feels pretty good.
Silver lining.
Can't lose if you don't play.
The gap can grow between us and other teams, right? Well, or is it only Leagues Cup games this weekend?
No, well, aren't there some actual games this weekend?
I think it's only Leagues Cup games this weekend.
Really?
So there's no MLS league games this weekend. So we can't get any worse.
Right.
There's no worse situation we can be in this weekend.
We will stay right there. But with Leagues Cup starting tonight, man, there's some teams I'd like to pay attention to in there. So, just a quick side note. Tigres is always going to be a pretty heavy team. But Columbus, always playing pretty well against these kinds of teams. And, of course, Miami, I think, could really get something done in there. Those are kind of my three teams.
Yeah. And, Thursday, Monterey and Cincinnati, that'll be a hell of a game.
Oh, yeah, for sure. LA Galaxy's in this thing. Might keep an eye on them just to see how much they implode.
Yeah, there are some really fun matchups. Tigres versus San Diego on Friday. That'll be a super fun one. That'll be the first time those teams have ever gone head to head. And so, I don't know. I'm looking forward to this. This will be fun.
I might have to throw on my Santos Laguna jersey, my man. When I get
there you go.
They're back in that thing. So
against Colorado on Thursday.
That's right.
So this will be fun. But yeah, thank you all so much for listening. Go check out Groundhog Day if you got a chance. You got 2 more weekends to go see it. It's pretty cool. But yeah, thank you all so much for listening. Make sure you leave that 5-star rating and review if you have not yet done so. Send us an email like Mariah. Shout out again to Mariah. nootherpod@gmail.com. Follow us on all socials at nootherpod, at Dan Kooser, at JCMac03, or check us out on YouTube, KCSN Soccer, or via the Kansas City Sports Network app. But until next time, he's Dan. I'm Jimmy. We'll catch y'all later. See ya.
There is no tomorrow.